Stadium, and we welcome you to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. A pair of 3-win SEC teams going head-to-head. Vanderbilt with an early start to their season, and they've had great momentum. And the second-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama trying to remain perfect on this still young season. Vanderbilt in a house where they've only won once back in 1984, and Nick Saban leaving his second-ranked Crimson Tide onto the field. Saban was asked about the expectations around this Alabama program, and he said, "We expect to dominate conference games." And they've done just that in this series history with Vandy, which dates to 1903. Alabama. And with that, we welcome you to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik down on the field. Vanderbilt waiting to take the field as well as the Commodores look for their first win here since 1984. Welcome, everybody. Here we are. This has been a perfect start to the season for Alabama, but an imperfect season to this point in many ways. Cole, nothing imperfect about this defense. They're among the national leaders once again.
Obviously, Tom, the defense played great football the entire season. They've given up 2 touchdowns, have not given up a single touchdown through the air. They're top 10 in 5 major statistical categories. However, even facing a younger quarterback, Pete Golding telling us before the game tonight, we have to change the picture of what this football team will see. I would expect different fronts, I would expect different personnel, and probably some different numbers lined up in different places tonight for Alabama's defense.
And they'll look to bring pressure on A.J. Swan, true freshman, making his first SEC start on the road against Alabama. He comes in with a fantastic resume. Tough to live up to those here.
And I've been in those shoes on the road at Alabama 2011, one of my first playing experiences. It's tough going against that team, but A.J. Swan, I believe, the most talented thrower of the football that Vanderbilt has had in the last decade. He's a former 4-star Under Armour All-American kid, and he is going to give his receivers chances on the outside. He's also great off platform, great creating when he needs to. But if Vanderbilt is going to compete tonight and they're going to win this football game, Mike Wright has got to be a big part of the offense as well. He's a dynamic runner, 5th in the SEC in rushing yards. He was the starter at the end of last year, the starter at the beginning of this year, and I believe he will have to have a role to complement A.J. Swan.
Swan got the start last week on the road against Northern Illinois, and a slow start for that offense, but he got it going late, including converting a key 4th down. But this Alabama program has been a major hill to climb for Vanderbilt in the course of their recent history as well. They've lost 22 consecutive games in this series. That last win coming when Reagan was in offense. They haven't had a lead against Bama since 06. It's been about 5,500 days since they last scored a point against Alabama. So, with Clark Lee now the head coach at Vandy in his 2nd year, what is the mindset in the Commodore locker room?
Well, the mindset anytime you're building a program is confidence, right? Gaining it before these games start and continuing to grow it in these games and through adversity. They're going to face adversity tonight on the field. How do they respond? That's what Clark Lee wants to see, and that's what he wants to see his team develop.
The Doors won the toss. They've elected to defer, and so we'll see the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young, on the field in just a moment. Under the lights at Bryant-Denny Stadium, it is a Saturday night in the SEC, and the atmosphere, as you would expect, living up to the hype. It is electric here. Alabama grad transfer Joseph Bulovis will kick off for Vandy. Bama's special teams were sensational last week against Louisiana Monroe. Kool-Aid McKinstry to return. A knuckleball, and McKinstry will let it trickle into the end zone. And so here's Bryce Young, the junior from Pasadena, California, out of Mater Dei. And what a magnificent season last year, taking home college football's most prestigious hardware. 16-2 as a starter for the Tide.
It's all the little things he does. Extremely high football IQ, how he navigates the pocket, what he does for this team in this scheme before the snap even occurs. Definitely need to see him develop some of the chemistry with his receivers and develop that downfield passing attack as we've seen it in the past.
And that was the imperfection we referenced in the open for this Alabama team. And they'll throw on first down, a little play action. And Jermaine Burton, and that is a QB wide receiver relationship that needs to be developed.
Yeah, that's a guy that has got to get on the same page with Bryce. Coming into this game before that, more than 5 yards downfield, just 2 of 8. A 10 QBR when targeting Jermaine Burton. I expect them to move him around in different spots. We'll see him outside a little bit more frequently than we have so far this season.
Jahmyr Gibbs in motion. Bryce will hand it off to Jace McClellan, and he's got an Alabama first down. Well, this is a versatile Alabama backfield with McClellan and Gibbs. We'll talk a lot about their inclination to run more 2-back sets that don't look like traditional 2 running back sets. And a big reason is Gibbs and his ability to split out and be a great receiver. Pressure up the middle. Gibbs picks it up. Young up his back foot, and a flag coming in. Multiple flags.
Holding on the offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. In play, first down.
It's Darian Dalcourt, Alabama's center.
I was wondering just how aggressive defensive coordinator Nick Howell for Vanderbilt wanted to be. Brings cross dogs there. Little pressure up the gut. Anytime you have a quarterback that's maybe even a little undersized, sometimes you want to get things in his face. Get guys up there. Make it messy in front of him as much as you can.
Here's McClellan. Huge hole. That'll gain some of that ground back. Cole, there's a unique scenario going on the left side of Alabama's offensive line with a former door over there at left tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Steen playing there. Number 54, who started and played for multiple seasons at Vanderbilt. He's played great for Alabama thus far this season. He's really brought a physical presence at a position of need, but he knows these guys. He's played against them. He knows their tendencies. We asked him about trash talking a little bit. He said, yeah, I know what I'm going to say. I got some things planned.
Second and long. Swing out to McClellan. And he finds just a couple. Anthony Orji stops him after a gain of 3.
Big opportunity here early in this game because of the holding call for Alabama as they use a little tempo here. A 3rd and long situation. Vanderbilt showing like they want to bring some pressure. Let's see if they bring it or they drop out. And they're going to drop out. It's the tough part about having a quarterback like Bryce. They're going to get to the ball quick. He's going to see what you're going to do, look to the sideline, change the play completely.
Four-man rush. They get it to Cameron Latu, and he is stopped immediately. Pick up a 5, and that'll bring up 4th down for Alabama. Jeremy Lucien with the stop. Orji was there, and Bama will bring on the punt team on the first series.
Well, it was a great job by Bryce there, right? You get a blitzer from the short side, replace the blitzer, but the defense knows that too. They know if they bring pressure off the edge, the quarterback's going to want to replace it, go right there. So coverage all over Latu on that one, and a huge stop for Vanderbilt early in this game.
James Burnap called upon earlier than normal. No return for Shepard.
Let's go defense.
42-yard punt, and so second career start for the freshman from little old White, Georgia, north of Atlanta, out of Cherokee High School. Let's get to know the 6'3", 225-pound freshman. Small town, North Georgia. Grew up a Bulldog fan. Versatile athlete growing up, 6th grade national championship in hoops. He played a lot of baseball through his formative years and played with some great players. And the first SEC true freshman with 4 passing touchdowns in his first start since Tyler Bray for Tennessee. And he swings it out to Ray Davis. Davis taken down in the open field after a pickup of 3. Brian Branch to tackle.
And right away on the first play of the game, they try to cut Will Anderson on the outside, right? Anytime you got a player of this caliber, A.J. Swan, and the center is going to have to walk up to the line of scrimmage, identify where's 31, slide to him, cut him, chip him, get tight ends involved. Your main goal is to keep him off of A.J. Swan, especially early in this game.
It is a new starter. Julian Hernandez at center. Delphin Xavier Castillo is out for this game. Jaden McGowan takes it to the marker. See where the spot is. Looks like he's going to be about a yard short. 3rd and less than 1.
This is where you feed your running back Ray Davis, 2nd leading rusher in the SEC right now. Number 2, 5'9", 205. He's short, but he's built for these downhill runs between the tackles.
They're going to split out Swan. Davis will take the direct snap and has nowhere to go. Henry To'oTo'o breaks through for the tackle. It's a loss of 4.
Watch the play by Henry To'oTo'o. Reads this the whole way. As soon as A.J. Swan motions out of the backfield, that's going to tell To'oTo'o this is going to be a run. He reads it, shoots the gap right away. That is a savvy player, knowing as soon as that Wildcat running back is back there, they got one option, and he came downhill without even blinking.
3 non-offensive touchdowns for Alabama last week, including a punt return for a score. Matthew Hayball gets it away, and a fair catch taken by McKinstry. 5 minutes into this one, Alabama's offense will be back on the field in a moment.
Well, Alabama, Vanderbilt trading punts early on, but the narrative really has been for this Alabama football team, where's the deep attack? Are the receivers not good enough? Are they not separating? Not the case when you flip on the film. Jermaine Burton has had plenty of opportunities downfield, and frankly, the Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young has just missed him a few times. I think chemistry is not quite there, because when you see guys like Cam Latu running downfield, it's right on the money. So, as we look to see this offense develop, how will the chemistry develop with guys like Jermaine Burton, Kobe Prentice, some of these deep attack receivers, and the Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young?
And he gets rid of it quickly, slings it out to Ja'Cory Brooks, and he's got a first down. Soft coverage, and Bryce Young able to take advantage of it.
It's really been a staple of this offense, right? I mean, we saw Jamison Williams last year just running by everybody seemingly 1 or 2 times a game. He'd have big explosive plays downfield, and just hasn't been that way for Bryce Young in this Alabama offense early on. But not because the opportunities haven't been there.
Goes right back to Brooks, who springs free on the sideline for a big gain for Alabama. 25-yard pickup.
Boy, Vanderbilt and Nick Howell want to keep everything in front of them, right? They're scared, even though Alabama hasn't been great at it. They don't want these guys running by them. Anytime you give Bryce Young free access, which means a lot of room on the outside, no underneath zone defender, he's going to just flip it out there every time.
Empty backfield. Goes right back to Brooks. Brooks came in with 4 catches on the season, and he's already got 3 tonight. Bryce Young 6 for 6. Looking for Gibbs? No, looking for the end zone. Brooks again. Foot down, touchdown.
Four times in a row, Bryce goes back to Ja'Cory Brooks. Yeah.
Did he have control of it when his left foot was down? Will be what the replay booth looks at. Or was the ball secured after the left foot came up? They took a quick look, and we are good to go, seemingly. Our favorite Gerald Hodges, our replay official. Will Reichert out for the point after. 4-play, 68-yard Bryce Young, Ja'Cory Brooks scoring drive. Well, there's your QB wide receiver rhythm.
Hey, you throw 3 hitches in a row. Eventually those DBs start playing up a little bit tighter, and when they do, number 9 is going to make you pay.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile, bringing 5G to hometowns across the SEC.
Only win for Vanderbilt in this stadium, 1984. Kirk turned the page, led the Vandy comeback, and Carl Woods had a 30-yard touchdown rush. Coach George McIntyre after the game said, I believe that we deserve to be ranked in the top 25 team. And while that was a big win for Vandy, they lost 6 of their last 7 and finished the season 5-6. Let's take you back to 1984. Prince and the Revolution had the #1 song in the country, When Doves Cry. Alex Trebek just started as host of Jeopardy. And look at this run. Niners with the Super Bowl, Larry Legend, Detroit Tigers, and the Stanley Cup to Edmonton. Doug Flutie won the Heisman, and LaVell Edwards and BYU were national champs. It has been a while is the point of that.
Yeah, common thread there, the lettuce. Man, the hair in the 80s. Got to bring that back. A couple lip sweaters and some lettuce.
Your hair would look great feathered. Here's McGowan, second catch of the game. And he picks up 9 on first down.
McGowan's a guy they want to get more and more involved. A true freshman. Not a big guy, 5'8", 177 out of Lawrence, South Carolina, but he is extremely talented when they get him the ball in space. And when you have a young quarterback, your main goal for Joey Lynch, the offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt, is get your young quarterback easy throws. Give him layups early on. Let his confidence start to build. Don't want to put him in harm's way if you can avoid it early on.
And the jet sweep to McGowan. He's got a first down as he takes it to the 39.
Yeah, guys, I talked to Clark Lee, Vanderbilt head football coach, down on the field before the game about that confidence with A.J. Swan. He said, man, he's got a different swagger about him. He's a guy that definitely doesn't doubt himself. We like that. We want to build that. It's one of the reasons they want to try to make this his offense, make him the guy tonight for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
I was talking with A.J. earlier this week. He said, scouting report on me, I would pressure me. I'm a freshman starting on the road in the SEC for the first time, because the other part of that, I like being pressured. I think I do pretty well when I get off platform and have to move a little bit. Midway through the first quarter, Swan misfires on that one to Will Shepard, the nation's leader in touchdown catches, and that's the first misfire for Swan tonight.
Now, you mentioned pressure, right? Alabama brought a little Sam Fire, outside linebacker, came on that one. A.J. Swan sees it. Watch his eyes. He sees it coming. This is a called run. He's going to pull it for the RPO, the pass option, trying to get the ball to Will Shepard there, his #1 guy. Incompletion, but I love that he recognized that, pulled it right away.
Pressure coming again. And he'll lob it out there for Shepard, who makes a move to the inside. And he's got it into Alabama territory.
One thing I noticed when I watched film on A.J. Swan from last week is he has a knack for this back shoulder throw. And it's not traditional. Normally, quarterbacks want to throw that on a rope. He puts air on it.
Yeah.
He'll throw that early, let his receiver have more time to adjust to that, and still the cornerback there didn't have eyes on it, so not able to adjust quick enough.
Toe brought the lumber to bring him down, but after a gain of 22, Shepard coming off of a career-best game, and we'll see if that hit didn't force him out of the game. Looking for the slant, and it is there. Threads the needle. for a gain of 7, and Alabama says we've got it. McKinstry came off the ground with the football.
Looked like a little bit of a tussle afterwards. I think Carter had that one. Kool-Aid comes in there late with a hand in there, wrestles it away, but that's Vandy ball all the way, and Vanderbilt trying to go a little tempo here.
This is Patrick Smith, no gain, a sophomore from Atlantic City, New Jersey. And this is 3rd down.
That last 3rd and short, they motioned A.J. Swan, the quarterback, out to receiver and ran Wildcat. Henry Toto blew that one up. I expect them to just hand the ball off to number 2.
And they're going to split Davis out. See if they bring him back. They'll bring everybody back.
Now look at all the movement that's causing by Alabama.
Davis trying to find the edge, and he does so. And a Vanderbilt first down. That's a lot of window dressing.
Love that, right? A huge 3rd down, and Joey Lynch dials up a play that's going to force Alabama to communicate, get out of position, and move a lot right before that ball is snapped. Look, Vanderbilt can't line up and beat this team man-to-man down the field. It's just not going to happen. So Joey Lynch is going to have to find creative ways to steal some yards, and that right there was stealing yards for a first down.
2nd year as Vanderbilt's offensive coordinator. Play action. And that one incomplete. Trying to find Shepard for the 2nd time, who's back on the field. That's a good sign.
That's going to be a matchup to follow all night. Will Shepard, extremely talented. You see right there, leading the FBS in touchdowns, leading the SEC in receptions and yards. They do have that extra game, but he's in the top handful of receivers in yards per game. He is very talented, and he will be a tough test for Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Kyrie Jackson tonight.
A little toss on the sweep again. McGowan. 4-yard pickup. Terrion Arnold there.
And this is the range that you get a little uncomfortable as a play caller. Right, 3rd long. What is your best play to protect against 31? Vanderbilt this year doing a lot more with tight ends, a lot more 12 personnel. As they come out in a traditional 11 personnel, they're going to have 1 tight end. Will Anderson right now matched up one-on-one with Jacob Brammer down here at the bottom of your screen. Let's see if they have Ray Davis come chip and help out.
Davis runs around him and incomplete. Kool-Aid McKinstry there. And Cole, that's something that Nick Saban talked to us about, having my defensive backs meet them where the ball is going to be.
And we got some top-notch lessons from playing defensive back from Nick Saban this week. And one of the main things that I took away was reading the wide receiver's hips. He said, I'll always tell you where they're going to go, and it has to be the key for every defensive back. I asked Travaris Robinson, the defensive backs coach, about it before the game, and he said, absolutely. That's where your eyes start on every single play. Those hips sink, those hips turn, tell you exactly where that receiver's going to go.
41-yard attempt. Joseph Bulovas, and he drills it. Vanderbilt on the board after a 10-play, 52-yard drive. It took 5 minutes off the clock. Let's take a look at our hometown connection, brought to you by T-Mobile. Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee grew up in Nashville, but he started his college career just up the road at Birmingham Southern, where he played on the NAIA National Championship baseball team. Auburn head coach Butch Thompson was the pitching coach at the time. Transferred to Belmont, played baseball for the Bruins, and then finished his career at Vandy, fullback his last couple of years of eligibility, including a couple of kick returns in one of his matchups with Alabama. Vandy's first point scored against Alabama since 2007. No return here.
He was wearing out that transfer portal way back.
Well, he couldn't decide which sport he wanted to play. I mean, that was That was a big part of it. What has he brought to the Vanderbilt program?
I think he's brought a quiet confidence, right? I mean, he's not a guy like I had James Franklin that was pounding doors down and colorfully painting this picture of who we're going to be. He's like, no, it's going to take work. I'm confident in who we are. I'm confident in how we're going to get there. And he's got a track record as a coordinator and coaching some of the top units for top programs in the country. So it brings credibility as well.
Bryce Young is perfect to start this game, and they'll start with Jace McClellan, and the flag comes in at the end. That last touchdown drive was all Bryce Young and Ja'Cory Brooks.
Holding on the offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Javian Cohen, junior from Phoenix City, Alabama. Cole, what kind of rotation are we seeing on the O-line for Alabama tonight?
You're going to get 52 Tyler Booker in the game at some point. He's a young man that this coaching staff all believes will be a major player later in the season. Javian Cohen has a little bit more experience. They know the versatility of Kendall Randolph. They will still want to use him at tight end a little bit, but he can play guard. He might be more of a swing guard for Alabama now, but in an emergency situation.
Second O-line penalty of the night against Bama. Running up first and 18. And McClellan picks up 4.
You know, something to note in the Jermaine Burton, Bryce Young conversation of them gaining chemistry and trying to figure out how best to use Jermaine Burton. He's been aligning outside a lot more tonight than he has in the past. He's primarily been a slot guy. About 70-30, 60-40 maybe slot to outside, playing a lot more X receiver. You're going to see him here at the bottom of your screen right now in a stack formation with Kobe Prentice.
And he's been on the left side for all 11 Alabama plays so far tonight. Bill O'Brien told us yesterday one of the things they think can help him is simplifying that. And here he is, the catch across the middle. And he takes it to the logo for a Bama first down.
Boy, this is great to see. It's an anticipation throw. He's got a little dig route, but he's searching for the zone. You see him look for where the defender is and then enter that bubble that was created in the zone coverage. And Bryce Young anticipated that throw, threw it before he was out of his break. That's some of that chemistry we're waiting to see evolve.
And Bill O'Brien also talked about the fact that this offense, forget about what Jamison Williams did last year, it can be difficult to pick up in the intricacies of it. And you see all the places that Burton has lined up so far this season. How much will that help him get on the same page with Bryce?
A little more stability with where you're lining up definitely cleans things up for a receiver, right? I mean, part of the intricacy is that Bryce Young has the ability to change anything at the line of scrimmage, right? The offense itself isn't more complicated than Georgia necessarily, but because his quarterback has free reign to come up and change a route, change a concept, give a hand signal, change protection, that means his hot routes, his built-ins, his route combinations can change at any moment, and that's what causes a guy to play maybe a little slower than you want him to.
DeRicky Wright is walking himself off the field with a noticeable limp. Junior out of Gadsden City High School. So that indecisiveness that comes from Burton or has come from him over the course of the early part of the season also impacts the quarterback and makes him indecisive as well.
Yeah, I think when you watch Bryce, at times it looks like he's not pulling the trigger on some of those second and third progressions that last year was second nature, right? He'd come back to the left side and rip it. He knew exactly where his guy was going to be, exactly when he was going to be there, and I think we've seen him play, understandably so, just a little more hesitant this year so far.
Gibbs and McClellan in the backfield. Bryce Young will go over the middle again, and this is a catch for Jermaine Burton again. So here comes that rhythm, and you talked a little bit about the pressure for Bryce Young to live up to the standard that he's already set. Tonight, he's doing it.
Look, anytime you win a Heisman Trophy and you maybe start out the following year a little slower than you would have liked, you're looking over your shoulder, you're thinking, man, at this time I had 10 touchdowns last year. We were putting up these crazy numbers, and you're kind of chasing the ghost of who you were last year. I mean,
competing with your shadow.
100%.
Tim Tebow talked about that this weekend. He went through the same thing when he won the Heisman as a sophomore. His numbers dropped the following season, even though as a team they had a better year.
And how could they not, right? I mean, you expect it to drop a little bit, but Bryce is a competitor. All these kids are humans. They read social media. he wants to be better than he was last year. So, of course, he's looking at the ghost of his performance last year and trying to one-up it every time he's got the opportunity.
5 wide here and incomplete to Latu. A tip on the back end for Vandy of C.J. Taylor. Here's how Tebow's Heisman campaign compared to the next season at Florida. And all the numbers down across the board, yet Florida won the national championship.
That's it, right? That's the goal. And that's the goal for Bryce. That's what they didn't achieve last year. So if he could trade the accolades and the yards for that national championship, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
I miss Timmy wearing eye black. He should do that on Nation next week.
Yeah, why not? It was a little bright today on set. Could have used it. I could have used it.
4,800 yards last year for Bryce Young. And he is hooking up with Ja'Cory Brooks on the regular tonight. That's a 15-yard gain, and that is already the 5th catch for Brooks, a sophomore from Miami.
And Vanderbilt is just playing quarters looks, cover 3 looks. They have 2 corners, 2 safeties playing over the top, trying to keep everything in front of him. And Bryce Young's going to continue to take those free access throws every chance Vandy gives it to him. Right here again.
A lot of room for McClellan. And that'll set up a 1st and goal for Alabama.
Well, just watch the amount of cushion. Watch how he flies out of there and watch the green grass. That right there is a cover 3 look. You see the safety rolling to the middle. So that corner to that side has that deep third, but you can afford to give him a little less cushion and still play over the top. That's way too much on the outside.
Latu is a true weapon in goal line or near goal line situations, and that is incomplete. Just a hair high maybe for Trayshawn Holden.
Vandy linebacker here. Orji shot through the gap, got his hands up, and that caused the throw to be a little bit behind on that one. Bryce was trying to throw it around him there. You mentioned Latu. They do love him around the goal line here as you see him go in motion.
Play action into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama, Trayshawn Holden. Bryce all smiles after that 10-play, 75-yard drive. Will Riker for the point after. Bryce Young off to a magnificent start.
Yeah, Trayshawn Holden really becoming one of the go-to guys for Bryce Young. Great protection up front. Little play action and just a corner out from the slot. Those are so effective down in the red zone because DBs are forced to play closer with no help over the top.
3 possessions, 2 passing touchdowns for Bryce Young so far tonight. Not the only game going on in the league. Let's send you back to the studio. Here's Dari. All right, Dari, thanks. Great start for KJ Jefferson. Couple of touchdowns in the first quarter. Jade McGowan back to return for Vanderbilt. Well, Reichert is perfect on the season for Bama, and he drills this one midway through the end zone. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. Got A.J. Swan, a quarterback for Vanderbilt. You said in the open that Vandy wants to have a chance tonight. They need to play Mike Wright. Yet Clark Lee talked about the chance for playing 2 quarterbacks, and he didn't seem too keen on the idea. Why is Wright so key? And here's McGowan.
Well, I think Clark Lee had a funny response to that. He said, look, playing 2 quarterbacks isn't a strategy, it's a search.
Yeah.
And to one degree, I believe that. And I understand that, having been a quarterback that has been in a situation where I look it over my shoulder, you play differently. And anytime you're a young quarterback, you want A.J. Swan to go out there and know that if I throw an interception, that's okay. You're still our guy. You can make mistakes. But on the other hand, you're playing Alabama. You might need your mobile quarterback in a package scenario. Not that he's going to take over the job, but you're probably going to need him at some point tonight.
They need chunk plays and big offensive plays. Wright has done that over the course of the season, including the Week 0 game against Hawaii. Tough to hang with Bama with field goals. Their defense has been suffocating at times, and Bryce Young near perfect in this one. 161 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Alabama rolling again. Well, we mentioned Mike Wright, who's the second-string quarterback, had a career-high 153 rushing yards against Hawaii, including an 88-yard run. And they'll keep it on the ground with Ray Davis. And as this Vanderbilt offense looks for explosive plays, that obviously is one option. But Cole, you talked to Clark Lee before the game. It doesn't seem like it's an option they plan on using.
Yeah, I talked to him right before they went into the tunnel after warm-ups time. I said, is there an exact plan for Mike? Is it second series? Is it once a quarter? He said, we honestly don't think we want to use him tonight. If it needs to come up and there's a situation that we have to have him, we'll utilize him. But there is no direct plan. He said, we want this to be A.J. Swan's team. We want this to be his game. We're going to try to use this to build his confidence.
Wright had a couple of key turnovers in the loss to Wake Forest and lost the job at that point. 3rd and short. Schoenwald trying to lead the way, and Ray Davis is stoned at the line of scrimmage. Maybe picked up a half-yard, and that will leave 4th and a couple.
And I totally understand the thought process there of wanting your quarterback to feel like this is his game, but sure as heck would be nice to have a mobile quarterback on 3rd and short there to be a running threat.
Yeah.
Right, for a speed option. So,
and they're going to leave the offense out here on 4th and 1. Like, do you run straight ahead against Alabama in this scenario, or try to?
Only if it's a quarterback sneak. I think that's the advantage you have under center. Let's see if they do it.
Second string center is Julian Hernandez. Castillo did not travel this week.
Not much advantage, but 91 over you.
Quarterback will keep it and gets taken down. Will Anderson Jr. lying in wait.
Again, you don't have to make it a quarterback controversy, but you have a quarterback that's been a starter, that is one of the better athletes on your entire team. Sure would seem to be a great situation to have him run a zone read with Will Anderson right there to either beat that with speed or get upfield a little bit faster. Look, A.J. Swan is a mobile guy, but he's not a runner. So again, I think A.J. Swan's going to be a heck of a quarterback. This is his team, but in a situation like that, I think Mike Wright could have been a little valuable.
In our meetings with Bama defensive coordinator Pete Golding yesterday, he told us they did a lot of preparation for Mike Wright, that it was time intensive to get ready for 2 different quarterbacks.
I asked Pete down there, you think they'll play 2? He goes, I hope they don't.
Yeah. Wright's taking a shot. It's Brooks again. Touchdown, Alabama. Bill O'Brien takes advantage of the short field with a shot, and it pays off.
And the second touchdown that Bryce has thrown, his first one as well, it's a double move. Look at the little nod right there, just freezes the DB, Tyson Russell, who's their best cover guy, for a second. That's all you need, just a little hesitation. And Ja'Cory Brooks having a monster game. It just, too much space on the outside for these Alabama guys to operate in, right?
Reichert punches it through. Third touchdown pass of the night for Bryce Young, his second to Ja'Cory Brooks, who didn't have a single score this season coming in.
And only 1 completion coming into this game. Over 20 yards for Bryce Young, and already a couple touchdowns down the field tonight.
Well, fourth down stop gave Alabama a short field, and Bryce Young made him pay. Two of the best players in football collaborating there. Will Anderson had to stop on fourth, and then another touchdown pass from Bryce Young. Touchdown pass will get the headlines. Cole, walk us through that fourth down stop.
We hear a lot about Will Anderson as a pass rusher, but the difficulties to set the edge and play the run is where he's excelled. Watch tight end Gavin Stonewall come across. The running back going to come straight down in the C gap. Yet Anderson is not deceived by anything visually. Tight end across, running back down, able to stay home, redirect, and make that play on A.J. Swan. I talked to Coleman Holzer before the game, and he said this is an area that he wanted to improve upon. He's gone out and done the work with. One of the things he's got a chance to make him the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft.
Hutchler, the the outside linebacker coach for Alabama. 2 sacks for Anderson. A.J. Swan tipped a little bit late. It's interesting talking with Pete Golding yesterday, and we discussed the fact that sack numbers on average are down across college football. So the question is, how can you affect the quarterback when teams are getting rid of the ball faster than Yadier Molina throws it to second base, right? And he says, easy. We've got to confuse them and make them pat the ball and think about it and not go to their first look. And that's how you impact a quarterback, even if you don't hurry him. Here's Ray Davis.
The first thing Pete Golding told us in that meeting, Tom, we hit it in the open tonight, change the picture. Especially with a younger quarterback. Jordan can speak to this more than we can, but you get up to the line of scrimmage and it's not what you have seen on film. I thought Coach Saban laid it out for us perfectly by saying, hey, in the NFL, it's about a 4-game cycle. Yeah. Once you get through 4, you've seen all of that. Then you got to start watching some other stuff. In college football, man, it changes each and every week.
Saban talked about it from his days with the Browns. He said, Bill Walsh and the 49ers ran snag 7 flat. I told my guys you're going to see it 5 times, but I can't tell you the look that they're going to get to it from. Just know what your responsibilities are conceptually, and it won't be an issue. Play clock will run out. And Vandy takes a timeout to save the penalty. They'll be looking at a 3rd and 5 now.
Yeah, that's part of the struggle, right? You got a young quarterback down there. You got a 3rd and medium. You know Alabama's going to be coming after you. You know Will Anderson's over there. So you're trying to get in the perfect protection, right? You're trying to give your quarterback a chance. He's not used to looking up at that play clock and having that sense of urgency. Good timeout here.
Let's get you to the studio quickly. I thought it was weird enough when Jordan was on a mechanical bull there this morning. It's gotten more weird. 3rd and 5. Swan. Incomplete. No flag. He's trying to find Ray Davis. They hooked up on a key 4th down last Saturday against Northern Illinois. That time not meant to be.
Boy, some of that pressure, right? Didn't result in a sack, but you forced A.J. Swan out of the pocket. He's going to see some games up front. A twist there by Dallas Turner as he gets knocked to the middle. This is what you want to do, right? You want to get a quarterback off schedule. Now, A.J. Swan can make those plays, but more often than not, with your coverage on the outside, it's going to be a tough play to make.
Coverage by To'o, one of the smartest defensive players in the country. Fumble on the return. McKinstry scoops it back up. Schoenwald misses. And McKinstry takes it past the 40. Taken down by the long snapper. Pardon me, the punter, Matthew Hayball. Back to Tuscaloosa in a moment. Well, Bryce Young is living up to the billing. 13 of 16 tonight. He's already thrown for 3 touchdowns, and he's shared the football a little bit. In fact, he started off going to Ja'Cory Brooks. It hasn't stopped.
It's the chunk plays, right? Haven't seen a ton of that. It's been Ja'Cory Brooks on the outside, Holden for the touchdown, Jermaine Burton. Brooks again, he's pushing the ball downfield. And anytime you see that little celebration, that smile, that's bad news for everybody that's not wearing crimson.
Burton's got 3 catches. Trayshawn Holden has a touchdown. 80% of Alabama's plays so far tonight have been through the air.
And again, it's those chunk plays, right? That's what's been missing.
That's what was missing.
Was missing, yes.
Did you fall off the mechanical bull? Bryce Young looking deep. On the run, able to figure it out to Holden again. And into Vandy territory, pick up a 25. First catch for Kobe Prentice, and he's immediately swallowed up. C.J. Taylor there.
Latu chunked him right into him.
That's a great play by Taylor. Little help from Latu. Little tempo, too, from Alabama. One thing we thought we might see a little more of.
It's pretty wild to not only hear Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, say, we're better when we run tempo. We need to run tempo to be as good as we can be. We also sat down with Tyler Steen. And I can tell you guys, as a former 300-pounder, an offensive lineman, we didn't really love going fast all the time. But even Tyler Steen told us, he said, hey, man, I think we need to go fast. I think we need tempo. We operate better. We're a better team. We're more comfortable when we go fast. And Bill told us that they have 30 plays running tempo coming into this game for 300 yards. So obviously the average per play when they do go fast, Alabama's pretty good.
It's really good math, yeah. How does that help Bryce Young to run at tempo and spread?
Well, it simplifies things, right? Anytime you're going tempo, the plays are kind of your week 1, week 2 install plays.
Basic.
Stuff that everybody knows, but you give him the ability to, if he sees something he doesn't like, to press the pause button.
Yeah.
Right? Because he can do so much before the snap, protection-wise, audibly, getting different route combinations. If it's great, it looks clean, run it. Everybody knows what you're running. If it looks dirty, give your quarterback a chance to do what he does best, which is be a field general.
Gibbs doesn't have a touch yet tonight. He's been a decoy, and Young didn't like the pressure he was facing.
I'll tell you, Jordan, Vanderbilt made a little bit of an adjustment here on this drive. First time I've seen them go 3 down, and they've gone 3 down on every down this series. So something a little bit different up front, obviously giving them more numbers on the back end.
They got to get some more flat defenders out there. They got to get another guy in coverage because Bryce Young looks like he's playing 7-on-7 right now with the space they've had, the green grass they've had on the outside.
Nick Hall came to Vandy from Virginia, where he was with Bronco Mendenhall, had been with Bronco at BYU before that. First-year defensive coordinator. He'll drop 8 again. Bryce Young going down the sideline and incomplete. Kobe Prentice, the intended receiver.
Boy, that was a great throw by Bryce Young. A great job working his eyes downfield. Watch him looking Burton down in the seam. And the last second flips his eyes down the sideline of Prentice. That's a really good throw.
It is 4th and 12. They're leaving the offense on the field.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
Bryce would be really good at dodgeball. Trying to keep the drive alive. Bryce Young on skates now. Heaves it. Latu, too much. And Latu holding his right knee. Cameron Latu was held out of the first game of the season against Utah State. He is such an important weapon in this Alabama offense. And the Alabama athletic training staff tending to him right by the goal line.
See Latu go up, just trying to battle 2 defenders there. looking up for that football. Just comes down a little bit awkward on that right knee, and obviously the sleeve on the left knee for a reason. Get a good look at that right knee right there. Maybe just on the landing. Not sure if defender hit it on the way down.
Boy, not a good sign for Alabama. It really goes back to the decision to go for it on 4th and 12. I know you're kind of in no man's land as far as field goal. It'd be a really long field goal, but up 21-3. I mean, it's always, hindsight's always 20/20, but Atu is one of the more valuable pieces of this offense, run game wise, red zone wise, and one of the guys Bryce has the most chemistry with. Let's hope he's okay.
So back to Vandy on the turnover on downs, and Patrick Smith thrown down for a loss of 1. Let's think about the decision to go for it on 4th and 12, and we're talking with Tyler Steen about the difference between when he was in the Vanderbilt program and now here playing for Nick Saban at Alabama. He said, when I was at Vandy, it was always about overcoming obstacles and fighting through. He said, here it's about dominating, and just that mindset seemed to be coming from 2 different places.
That's a killer instinct, right? And it starts with Bryce and his
look at a killer instinct. Wow. Tim Smith, it's like trying to get the Brussels sprouts away from Cole.
Offside on the defense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
You think he knew it was on him when he just directly goes to the sideline? Right to Freddie Roach, the defensive line coach, which, by the way, not a guy that I'd want to have to run off to making a mistake. But
how does that happen, Cole?
You think you have the snap count. You just want to try to get a jump on it, and you're keying something, whether it's football, whether it's a hand, finger, something. He's got the wrong key.
On 2nd and 5. Again, good penetration by Alabama up front. It's a loss of 1. Will Anderson came up flexing.
He's going to be a handful all night. Again, these are the plays that just show up as a tackle, an assisted tackle in the playbook, but that's so hard to do because he's playing the quarterback run, he's playing the misdirection, he's redirecting.
3rd down 6.
Cheetah package for Alabama defense. First time we've seen it this year, Tom.
Anderson got there. It was a simple foot race, and Will Anderson with the sack for Alabama.
Well, we talked about, do you double him, do you chip him? Well, sure as heck, there's one thing you can't do is just leave him one-on-one with the left tackle, Gunnar Hansen. I mean, that just, you can't ask a left tackle on a 3rd and long situation to block 31 one-on-one. You just can't do it. Got to help him out.
Hayball will punt it away. Fair catch taken. It was a 46-yard punt. Will Anderson impacting the game early.
You got to help him out because that dude, he's drooling when he sees one-on-one with the tackle. And, yep, namaste. Give me that Heisman.
Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Great crowd on hand as expected here at Bryant-Denny, where Alabama has won 63 of its last 65 games. Here's Jace McClellan. Pickup of 8 on 1st down, and some shoving post play. Blew out his flip-flop. Must have stepped on a pop top. McClellan gets it fixed. How can your shoe be tight enough that you can put it back on that quickly?
Yeah, that's never a good sign.
McClellan, shoe fits fine. Here he goes. Past midfield. And a pickup of 26.
Boy, watch the push up front. Right here, watch these guys working in this direction. Got Tyler Booker. We mentioned his name. Cole mentioned by the end of the year, he's probably going to be starting. At left guard, he's at right guard there.
True freshman, Connecticut native, who's prepped at IMG Academy in Florida.
And he brings the physicality.
Falling catch made by Isaiah Bond. Cole, what makes Booker so good?
He's just got that edge, and it's something that you can't coach into guys. He likes to finish, he likes contact, he likes physicality. Saw him drop a full slab earlier in pass pro. Pass pro, not passive, by the way, but sometimes guys treat it like it is. He just brings a different edge, different mentality.
Alabama going tempo again, 2nd and 2. Oh, bobbled by Bond, and that cost him a catch and a first down. To Ricky Wright, who was injured earlier in this game, delivered the hit.
And Isaiah Bond, one of those true freshman receivers that this staff is really excited about. They got 3 or 4 of them they think are going to be really good players, but you saw it there. That's an RPO. Bryce is expecting Bond to have his head turned right away, right? Ball was on him a little too quick. That's one of those timing things that true freshmen are going to start to learn quicker and quicker. That, oh, hey, my quarterback wants that ball out now.
2 tight ends in the game, and they'll toss first touch for Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs gets bottled up trying to stretch it out. Cameron Latu back in the game for Bama. That's a great sign.
Boy, what'd they use? That magic spray they use in soccer? Football? You know, the guys look like they're down and out for the year, and then they spray that stuff on them.
They jump right up.
What is that stuff? I need some of that. That's good to see, though.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 2. Much different situation than the previous 4th and 12.
And they got Kendall Randolph in the game as well for some extra beef there. Lined up at tight end.
And McClellan will get it, I think. Indeed, first down Alabama.
Another shoe off.
All right, we got real lacing issues going on now.
What is Denard Robinson back?
You know, if he was wearing pack rats, you could just pull the Velcro over and be fine. You could also keep some change in the tongue if you wanted to.
What's a pack rat?
Oh, we've got a lot to learn. We'll take you back to the mid-'80s.
Got another 80s montage we're going to show?
That's right. Feathered hair and all. Nice young looking crossing route. And here's Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. Best receiver on the team by numbers, and the running back still on his feet. And he will truck all the way inside the 10, down to the 7, 26-yard gain for the Georgia Tech transfer.
Oh, Bryce Young actually trying to hit a double move to his left. He's trying to buy time, waiting for this double move to come out, but he's smart. Safety over the top, check it down to Jahmyr Gibbs, and this is where this offense gets really dangerous when they hit those chunk plays. Defenses get 2 safeties over the top, 1 less defender for Jahmyr Gibbs on the check down.
Play action to Gibbs, and incomplete. We were talking earlier about Bryce being indecisive at times, but he never seems to be rushed.
No. Quarterback coaches always used to tell me, I want you to play quick, but not in a hurry. Those are 2 very different things. You can play fast, you can play quick, but are you in a hurry or are you under control? Bryce is never not under control, even though things could be going a million miles an hour. I loved his patience on that one. And really, the internal clock. Double move wasn't open. Man, flip, find your check down, get it to your best player in space.
He's already thrown for 3 touchdowns tonight. Looking for 4. Gibbs out of the backfield. Spin move. Goal line. Touchdown, Alabama. 9-play, 77-yard drive. They converted a 4th and short, and finally turned Jahmyr Gibbs from the decoy to the featured back on that drive. Riker boots it through. And how about the work after the catch by Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, this is what Alabama fans have been excited about, how dynamic number 1 is out of the backfield. The first one, just a check down, get the ball in space, let him make everybody miss. And the second one might as well be a handoff. You bring Cam Latu over to be a lead blocker to seal the edge. You flip the ball out. Look at this, lead blocker 81 right there. One-on-one, number 1's going to win that every time.
Welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium, where Alabama leads Vandy 28-3, looking to extend their win streak against the Commodores to 23 straight.
I got to rub it in.
It's facts. Not sure how many you were a part of. Dari Noka's part of the party. Let's get you back to the studio. All right, thanks, gang. Kentucky only up a touchdown. They were tied at half. The low, but incomplete. Hey, Cole, when we got the defensive backs lesson from Nick Saban, which, by the way, every quarterback clinic, coaching clinic in the world would pay for, he talked about the break point. What did he mean by his DBs meeting the receiver there?
Well, essentially saying that based on the team, there's a certain amount of yardage which you can expect that route to be broken off. So he'll line up cones in certain portions of the field when they practice. So visually, those DBs, when they run down to cover, get an idea. This is 14 yards. This is 18 yards. And you're going to expect a receiver to break certain routes off at that point. He said it can change for a team. One will be 12, one will be 9, one will be 18, one will be 14. But visually, it allows those DBs to get an idea how far they've been running, how long that they've been running, and they change that up versus different opponents each and every week.
Let me tell you, I always appreciate our time with Nick Saban, but when he gets out of his chair to show you technique that he teaches his defensive backs, I mean, it's a master class, right?
Absolutely.
Take notes.
3rd down 12.
And if I'm Joey Lynch, I would take notes. Last time you left Will Anderson one-on-one.
Little game up front. Anderson got to him again. Waited for the traffic to clear. Jesse Boygby also there, and another sack for Alabama.
Boy, again, just another opportunity for Will Anderson to be one-on-one. A little game here. Toe-to-toe comes up the middle. Anderson pauses just for a second, loops inside. But man, really surprised that Vanderbilt hasn't used more of their tight ends in some of the protection, even some of their backs.
Yeah,
just haven't seen a ton of it tonight. Something that Joey Lynch and Clark Lee mentioned was important.
And they're used to it. They run more 2+ tight end sets than anybody in the SEC, if not the country. Kinstry trying to make a move. He does so. Now he's trying to find the edge. Turn upfield. Here's Kool-Aid McKinstry. And a sweet return into Vandy territory. Ball out late. Vanderbilt recovered it. And we'll see if McKinstry's knee was down or Vanderbilt caught its first break of the game. A 48-yard return.
Boy, really close. Getting run down from behind. Does that? Ooh.
Oh, out.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the kicking team. First down.
At first glance, I really thought that knee came down, but sure looks like that ball is out. No knee down, no elbow down. It's going to be Vandy football.
It's a second tackle for the punter, Matthew Hayball.
Dude.
And when that knee buckled, the ball just popped out.
Pat McAfee somewhere saying, hang it in the Louvre. Let's go, kid, for the brand.
Punter's getting it done. So Vandy gets it right back.
Vandy got to get back to the ground game. Just one net rushing yard tonight.
Sacks taking away whatever they've gained, and Rocco Griffin tries to get in on it. First down run for Vandy. Pick up a 12. Third different back Vandy has used tonight with Ray Davis and Patrick Smith.
I mean, Rocco was their #1 back last year, came into the game questionable. Ray Davis has really been a bright spot in the backfield tonight. Excuse me, this season so far for Vandy. As I mentioned, second leading rusher in the SEC, but Rocco Griffin, another guy that's a starting caliber SEC back in the backfield now next to A.J. Swan.
He had a great close of the season. Toto coming up. Blitz, and it's a third sack of the game. Toto couldn't get there. DJ Dale beat him to it. Like an avalanche.
Boy, you're going to have Toto come, which means 94-47, both coming off the edge, scot-free. And as a young quarterback, that's where you got to recognize I'm hot. You had a running back release to that side. You got to recognize it. You got to get the ball out of your hand. But again, a tough task for a true freshman making his second start here on the road in Tuscaloosa.
On 2nd and 17, they'll run the ball. It's interesting that you bring that up, because when we talked with Bryce Young earlier this season, he said if there's pressure and I get sacked 90% of the time, that's on me for not recognizing it and getting the protection to where it needs to be, or finding my hot route.
Yeah, look, I mean, every play that is run has a protection adjustment that could be made or has a hot route. Right? So if you're getting hit, you got it. There was an answer. It was either I should have changed the protection, or man, I should have thrown to my hot route. Doesn't mean you're going to hit a big play, but there is always an answer. Doesn't mean you get there every single time. Playing quarterback's not easy.
Game moves awfully fast. Fast package on the field for Vandy now. Pardon me, for Alabama on 3rd and 16. And they spin Ray Davis around, who picks up just a yard. Cole, is that the cheetah package that we've heard so much about for Alabama?
31-41-15 is who you're going to want to see. I see 31-15 on the field. I'm not sure 41 was on the field that time, but that's one of the areas that Pete Golding talked about, just getting a little bit more extra jet in that pass rush, getting a little bit lighter. Guys who can obviously rush the passer. It's a package that not a lot of people would want to face with three of the best inside linebackers in college football on the field at the same time.
They missed the face mask call. Fairly evident. 42 seconds from the half. Let's take a look at Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. My man's got a boot. Great day here in Tuscaloosa. A little warm out today, so the Dr. Pepper certainly came in handy. And on a night game at Bryant-Denny Stadium, just a little different energy around town today.
Kool-Aid McKinstry going to have another shot at this. Looked like he was about to return the last one for 6 before the fumble, which gave Vandy the ball. See if he gets another opportunity.
They have 2 returners back there, and that one's dropped. And Alabama able to fall on it. 42-yard punt, and after a couple of special teams touchdowns last week, Ryan Branch.
And Vandy smart to punt away from Kool-Aid McKinstry after what he did last time. And Brian Branch out there, not used to fielding punts like that. I mean, he's a talented football player, but
had a good one last week, and he needed Malachi Moore to help him out, who comes out holding his neck. That's not where the mouthpiece typically goes, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's doing much up there. It's a vibe.
If it's working, he needs to see his dentist. Bryce Young, 4 touchdowns in the first half. And here's Jahmyr Gibbs. He is shifty. He picks up 10 on first down. We are 26 seconds away from halftime, and you can watch a live performance from Alabama's $1 Million Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Bryce Young going deep. It is caught. Jermaine Burton. And Bama will have a chance with 10 ticks left and a timeout taken by the Tide after that 48-yard gain.
Boy, got another true freshman. No, not a true freshman. That was Tyson Russell actually out there on the outside. 2-minute situation. You got to be deeper than the deepest guy. Watch Tyson Russell out here. Watch him get his eyes in the backfield. He's watching Bryce Young. Doesn't even see or have a feel for Jermaine Burton as he runs right by him, anticipating maybe another short throw to try to pick up some yards and call a timeout. But your number one rule in 2-minute like that when you're playing deep zone is be deeper than the deepest guy. You can't get your eyes caught in the backfield there.
10 seconds left in the half and 1 timeout remaining. What does Alabama draw up here to try and get a score before the end?
Well, I think you take another shot. Right? I mean, you're already in field goal range, comfortable field goal range. I might take a shot to the end zone here. Do have a timeout, so that, I mean, you could throw a short one. Just have to tell guys, if you catch it, 5 or 6 steps. If you have that, get down.
By yardage, best half Bryce Young has ever played. He's taking that shot. It is incomplete. Coverage by Russell on the back end, and Jeffrey Ugabchukwu, who was able to get a fingertip on. Pardon me, to Ricky Wright.
And that's your one-on-one matchup, right? Trayshawn Holden out there, 6'3", is your biggest receiver. That's your jump ball situation. A lot of contact out there. I think that's a good no call, though.
The ball was tipped. It'll be a 40-yard field goal attempt for Will Reichert. From the right hash, and it is good. 31-3. Alabama with the lead. Bryce Young with 316 yards through the air, his most productive half in an already stellar college career. 4 touchdowns for Young. And the Alabama defense has harassed Vanderbilt to the tune of 3 sacks of A.J. Swan. Bryce Young meeting his teammates as they head into the tunnel into the Alabama locker room. Meanwhile, Vandy will have to regroup. Haven't won here since '84. Nick Saban is standing by with Cole Kubley.
Coach Saban, I know you wanted to try Jermaine Burton outside more, not move him around as much. Is that the main reason for his success?
Yeah, I think, we're trying to play 7-11 and, 3 outside. So, we move these guys around so much, it's hard for them to get any continuity in what they're doing. So they're playing well today.
That was another thing you wanted to do defensively, change the picture, move guys around. Happy with how much you've done that?
It's been good. They got us a little bit early because they kind of stayed in big silver, 2 tight ends. Got little guys playing nickel, so they blocked them and hit some perimeter plays. But guys settled down, started playing perimeter better and playing block protection a little bit better, and we did okay.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
You always learn something. Big silver, 2 tight ends. What Vandy was running, Alabama had to adjust to it. They made all the necessary adjustments in this half. The score is 31-3. Here's Dari and the fellas. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa and welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. Vandy's only won in this building once, and it doesn't look like they're going to make it number 2 because Alabama's got a 28-point lead at the break as we get ready to start the 3rd quarter. Tom Hart joined by Jordan Rogers and down on the field, Cole Kubley. You know, coming into this game, we talked about Alabama's quarterback and wide receivers getting on the same page. Whether that was a focus or not, they've taken advantage of Vanderbilt and made it so.
Yeah, and I think we heard Nick Saban say right before half the opportunity to move some of those guys more outside. And I think that's partially because of the development of the young true freshmen at slot. But Brooks, Burton, Holden, all guys that haven't made a ton of plays early on this year, making big chunk plays downfield. These receivers and Bryce Young look to be clicking, something that was a question mark coming into today.
It was one of the greatest halves for an Alabama quarterback, going back to Mac Jones' performance against Ohio State in the BCS National Championship game. And Bryce Young will look to add to those numbers. Meanwhile, on the Vandy side, moments ago, Cole caught up with Clark Lee.
Coach, how do you find more balance offensively in the second half?
Well, we got to get in rhythm. I mean, you know, it's not a formula for us to get behind the chains and allow them on third down to heat us up. I mean, we got a young quarterback. We need to get him to get comfortable and settled here early in the drives and see if we can establish a rhythm. I thought when we did that in the first drive, you know, we looked pretty good. And, you know, let's get the ball in space. Let's get Will Sheppard activated a little bit and see what that does for our run game.
Silver lining for Vanderbilt, and I talked to A.J. Swan about this during the week, is they knew what they were up against in the #2 team in the country. And Swan going back shoulder. Here, another fantastic grab by Will Sheppard. And it's an opportunity for him as a young quarterback, if he is the future of this program, to use this game as a foundation and say, you know, when I was a freshman, we went to Tuscaloosa and I played against Will Anderson and that great defensive line and I learned so much in that game that helped me throughout the rest of my career.
Yeah, it's not so much macro context as it is micro, right? Some of these throws, that throw right there to Will Sheppard, that's a confidence booster. Another one here, back shoulder again to Will Sheppard out there. That's 3 times they've connected downfield on talented Alabama corners. And those are things you can build off of. You start to be able to make plays like that, it sets up your run game. It gives you more zone coverage on the outside when you're winning in man like that. And Will Sheppard made a couple big plays. But like you said, those are building blocks for confidence for a young quarterback in A.J. Swan.
Swan 10 of 16 tonight.
And see, it gets Alabama into a 2-safety look here now.
And they'll try to run it straight ahead and find less than a yard. That's Ray Davis, senior from San Francisco. What a story Ray Davis is. His parents were in and out of incarceration. He ended up in a foster home at age 8. His godmother took 2 siblings, but not him. And he said, being homeless as a young kid, it made me look at the bigger picture. Like, there's always people going through worse things than me. It's like an incredibly mature outlook for a guy going through it at such a young age. The option pitch, and that one's blown up initially, but McGowan gets through, lost his mouthpiece, but Byron Young turned him around. Oh, somebody lost some mouthpiece. That'll bring up 3rd and about 10.
And here's that cheetah package that Cole mentioned a few times. Now on the field, Braswell, Anderson, Turner, 3 defensive ends, 3 long guys that can get after the quarterback all in at the same time. Let's see how Vandy goes about protecting this. Right now, no tight ends. It's 5-0 lineman and Ray Davis in the backfield.
Anderson now working on the right side of the line. Jacob Brammer tried to come inside. That is a dart, and it's just off the hands of Ben Bresnahan.
All right, so you mentioned the cheetah package, Jordan, but the brilliance in it is locking up the center with the nose guard, so he can't come out and help. So now you put your left guard, your left tackle, both on islands against 2 elite speed rushers. But your left tackle has a defender lined up on his outside shoulder with another defender outside of him. You think about the kind of width that a tackle is going to have to gain on that set. And just to gain that width means you're giving up leverage with speed. Very difficult task.
The left guard had a defensive end on him. Yeah, that's what makes it hard, right? He's not used to that kind of speed.
Over the tackle, by the way.
Exactly.
Checks up at the 13-yard line, 32-yard punt for Hayball. Bryce Young will have the ball in his hands when we bring you back to T-Town. Bryce Young going deep like Aaron Judge tonight.
Yeah, something we wanted to see from Bryce Young, pushing the ball downfield. Who would emerge on the outside as a couple go-to guys that can win in one-on-one coverage? And really, it's been by committee. Trayshawn Holden, Ja'Cory Brooks, Jermaine Burton all made big plays tonight downfield. And this is the missing link, or the link that hasn't quite developed this year to complement the explosive run game that we've already seen. That's how this offense becomes unstoppable.
Arguably the only area of imperfection. Here's Latu. And he picks up 10. There is a Bama Yankees comp to be made too. The pressure to win at a place like Alabama football. Talking to Nick Saban about it yesterday. That comp made when I was talking with Aaron Boone a couple weeks ago, right after I left Tuscaloosa, and he immediately interjected. He said, "Well, did you tell him I'm a Yankee fan?" But the pressure that Aaron Boone faces, and he says all the time, the pinstripes are heavy, right? It's hard to win here because of the outside pressure. Nick Saban said, I don't care about outside pressure. There is no outside pressure, Cole, because he's such a competitor. The pressure to win is inside the building, and it comes from the head coach.
I think he puts the highest expectations on himself, and he talks about the standard, playing to that standard each and every week. That's his expectation. Play as the best football team in college football each and every week, and when they don't meet that, he knows it, and his players will know it, and he'll tell his players about it, and he'll tell his coaches that they didn't coach that way. So I loved it, because I thought he got agitated when you brought it up, basically saying, I don't need anybody else to tell me to be good. We know what we want to be, and we'll handle it ourselves.
He was relaxed later in our meeting when he eventually pushed his chair back and put his loafers up on the table. Hadn't seen that side before.
Leave it to Tom Hart to fire him up.
None was better than the personal awards question we got 2 years ago.
Well, let me tell you, Cole came to Tuscaloosa this weekend, and he made history. They pressure Bryce Young. He gets it away. There's a first down. He finds Kobe Prentice.
Boy, Anthony Orji came clean on a pressure right here, but Bryce Young so good at subtle movements in the pocket. He sees it, sidesteps, and somehow with no platform or feet underneath him, able to deliver the ball to Prentice.
32 of 41 plays through the air. They'll add another one perhaps. Young, little half roll. That is complete for another first down. Thursday night we got to town, and according to the Learfield folks, Cole Kublik became the first ever Auburn grad to be a co-host of Hey Coach. You wouldn't know he was an Auburn grad the way all the Alabama fans wanted to take a picture with royalty after the show.
Or really, they just wanted to ask me what it was like doing radio with McElroy every morning.
Pressure on Bryce Young. He escapes, evades a sack, and picks up 5.
I will say it was a really cool experience, and I'm very appreciative of Coach Saban and everybody involved. Josh Maxson involved with the athletic department, who allowed me to do it. But I wasn't an Auburn guy when I was up there. I was a football nerd, and I wanted to learn from Nick Saban, and hopefully the crowd got a little bit of that as well. And we got some more in our meeting, as you stated, Tom. Just a pretty cool weekend to be around the head coach as much as we were.
On 2nd and 4. It was the easiest job Chris Stewart ever had. He didn't even have to talk. Wide open again, finding soft spots in that Vandy zone. It's Prentice again. Freshman from Calera, Alabama.
Boy, about 3 straight plays where Bryce Young was under a lot of pressure. This time, watch the pocket here. And watch the stripe on his helmet. Watch the reads. He's going 1, 2, 3, 4. Gets all the way back to Prentice. You give Bryce Young that kind of time.
The stripe in line with his vision.
Yep.
Roydell Williams' first touch tonight.
We used to always watch film as quarterbacks, and our coach would say, watch that stripe in the back of your helmet, right? I got to see you working through your progressions the best, or even more so important, looking safeties off. Look to the left. Get that stripe going all the way to the left. That'll move defenders. Bryce Young does that so well, and it's an easy way to see it.
What do the Bengals do?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Honestly, I've heard of teams that don't have it putting it on their practice helmets for that specific reason.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, a few mistakes made by Alabama tonight on the offensive line. Dalcourt flagged for the 2nd time tonight.
Back to Saban real quick. I think it's so interesting. You get around a coach like that, and a lot of times I think some media members maybe toe tip or like dance around some questions. Man, the guy wants to talk.
Is the word
that's
you're
the word.
looking
Yeah,
for.
I was going for it. The guy wants to talk ball.
Yeah,
right? You ask him intelligent questions about football, you're going to get intelligent, really good answers. And I think Cole did that better than anybody there right before halftime.
He'll go with Williams again. And Roydell Williams is making the most of his second half opportunity. Rips off 13.
Well, Bill O'Brien told us 5 is the one that brings the downhill power. If we need that thunder, he's the one that we're going to turn to, and we've seen it here on consecutive carries in this drive.
And Kendall Randolph in the game as well as a tight end, but really an extra offensive lineman.
Here he is again, and needed 2 for the first down, maybe just short. Roydell Williams, junior from Hueytown.
You know, Jordan, I'm going to speak to that advantage of Kendall Randolph being the lineup as a tight end. Coach Saban said, you know, he might be a better tackle than guard. It's not a negative, but what he does well is block guys in space. And I can tell you, a lot of guys who move to tight end, you fail consistently because of how much quicker the defensive players are that you're going against on a regular basis. So the fact that he can kick out 2 spots, guard, tackle, tight end, and be able to handle it, says a lot about his athleticism.
High formation for Robbie Oots, and now he'll get to the wing. Jace McClellan now in the backfield. Need 1 for the first down, and ran into his own guy, and Vanderbilt able to stop him.
Kane Patterson for Vanderbilt came screaming in there. A lot of times you get heavy like that, it kind of ends up being mush ball. Everybody in there shoved together, and Patterson was able to dip around, get outside of it, make a great play for a big stop on 3rd down. Mush ball, is that right?
No.
Tiptoe, mush ball?
Toe tip around mush ball.
Wad ball.
Pit?
Wad ball is what Saban would
That's
call
what
it.
I was going for. Jeez. Unbelievable.
That guy just gave you a failing grade. Reichert on for the 21-yarder, and the chip shot is good. 84-yard drive. Alabama picks right up where they left off.
We appreciate good teachers more than you know, and that's why we try to always recognize them. You know, good teachers help individuals at a young age, you know, find their passion, find their niche, find what they want to do in life. And it's not always one size fits all. And I think good teachers, you know, teach individuals and find what they really need to do to help them be successful and have a successful life. So I think that's probably one of the most important things in our society, and why we, you know, try to do a really good job of supporting teacher excellence.
This week, college football is coming together to recognize the important role of teachers in their impressive effort to support the development of each of their students, often both inside and outside of the classroom. On behalf of the College Football Playoff Foundation and ESPN, we have donated a $1,000 Donors Choose gift card to Debbie Crawford, principal at Holt Elementary, used towards school resources and supplies. Let's see what Debbie Crawford thinks of Vanderbilt's special teams.
First down from the 1-yard line.
They're going to have it stuck at the 1. There's Debbie, principal at Holt Elementary. That was a school picked by Terry Saban. They have a foundation that promotes and supports children, family, teacher, and student causes. Hey, the texts are rolling in. Debbie, you're on TV. Congratulations and thank you for your work. Vandy backed up. They can get it out of the end zone by Ray Davis. Asked for the fair catch, but then bumped it, so the ball was dead when he recovered it. And that's why Vandy's stuck at the 1.
And Vandy haven't been able to run the football very effectively. You want to let that one just bounce, go through the end zone, but this is dangerous territory here. Let's see if they dare run a pass backed up this far. They do.
Swan play action. Trying to go back shoulder, and that'll draw a flag. And well, that's not how Nick Saban teaches it, Cole, but we did learn how he teaches his DBs to defend a back shoulder.
The main key
Pass interference on the defense, number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and that carries an automatic first down.
So the main key is going to be that receiver. When you're trying to cover him, he's heading downfield. That back shoulder comes here. This shoulder is going to be the key visually for that wide receiver, because obviously when it turns, the receiver's got to turn to come up and try to catch the football. So Coach Saban told us that outside shoulder is going to be the key on the back shoulder play. But that was one interesting, because Coach Saban talked to us about that one too, saying sometimes when they throw that ball to drag the receiver back inside and my guy's playing the football, he's in phase, doesn't always feel like it should automatically be pass interference.
Yeah, they'll run it here. And his point being that if the receiver turns and the DB turn in the same direction, they're going to meet each other. That's good defense, even though by rule book, they're going to throw a flag.
Yeah, Saban coaches what?
DBs.
Defense, DBs. Yeah, I'm a quarterback. I'm going to say no thanks. That's a flag every time. That flag was on Eli Ricks, a guy that transferred into this program from LSU. A lot regarded him as a potential first-rounder, top 10 pick. I mean, potentially.
Yeah, no,
right?
No doubt.
But a guy that really hasn't been able to get on the field here at Alabama. Saw Pete Golding go say a few things to him right before this drive, knowing that he was going to get an opportunity here.
No question about the skill level and the talent level. And that one batted away by Kool-Aid McKinstry. And what we've learned is that Alabama values defensive backs who are in the right spot, who can make plays even if you don't have the best 40 time, you don't have the best physical tools. Not to sell anybody short,
totally.
But
it's a difficult scheme, right? Man match means a cornerback has got to adjust to routes, to formations, to which guy releases inside, outside. Your responsibility can change within half a second depending on how receivers release. So not easy just to plug and play in the system coming from LSU, where a lot of man coverage.
yeah,
A little easier over there to understand what you need to do and when you need to do it.
bring 4. Almost got to him, a block in the back, and this ball is launched downfield, incomplete. Hansen was trying to slow down Braswell and get flagged for the hold. And we got another flag down to the secondary.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, face mask on the offense, number 55. Holding on the defense. Those penalties will offset. We will replay 3rd down.
It's going to be left tackle Gunnar Hansen.
The hold was on number 2 of the defense.
Byron Young being helped off.
Still, again, the pressure there on A.J. Swan. One-on-one. On the outside, you got Braswell rushing against Gunnar Hansen in a one-on-one situation. I'm just really surprised. You see here on the left side of your screen, just gets his hands up in the face of Braswell. I'm just really surprised at how often these tackles are being asked to go one-on-one against.
Especially against that width, Jordan.
Yes.
I mean, he was a man removed again. That's just
tough.
such a difficult task.
Or it could have been a misassignment by Ray Davis, who was
maybe
headed that direction and leaked out without making contact.
Right.
Anderson will move inside to Oto out. They're down 9. 3 sacks tonight by Alabama. And incomplete. Evan Body Jr. met by Malachi Moore right as the ball arrived.
And Alabama bringing another extra guy, Henry To'oTo'o, rushing there off the edge, which Malachi Moore knows they got to get the ball out quick. A really good job of as soon as he sees that break, right? We talked about the breaking points.
Yep.
What depth do they break their slant at? As soon as he saw that, got his eyes on the quarterback, broke that up, almost got an interception.
Hayball punches this one downfield. And it'll go out of bounds. We'll see where they'll mark it. 5:10 remaining, 3rd quarter at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Bam up 31.
A lot of you guys don't always listen to the broadcast. We know mainly because it's Tom, Jordan, and I, but usually you like to sync up your radio and listen to your home football team. If you're an Alabama fan, like I was growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, listening to games, Eli Gold was the voice of the Crimson Tide. And since 1988, he held the play-by-play position for Alabama radio broadcast. He didn't miss a game until 2020. Did not start the season in the booth for the Crimson Tide this season due to an illness. Hate to not hear Eli Gold on the radio calling these football games, because I know so many people understand how important he's been to everything Alabama has done and what you do on your way home in 2 games, riding around listening. They've only had 5 play-by-play voices for Alabama radio since 1958. Chris Stewart is the 5th this year, taking over for Eli. Chris does an amazing job. We love Chris Stewart, but Eli, we miss you. We're thinking about you, and we hope to hear you back here soon, healthy one day.
Yeah, and Chris has pointed out he is just keeping the seat warm for Eli's return. Working alongside John Parker Wilson with their engineer Tom Stipe. That one complete. That's Cameron Latu. And I thought Chris, the first game of the season, the first touchdown of the year, called the touchdown, and everybody was curious what he was going to say. Was he going to use Eli's phrase, touchdown, Alabama? And Chris simply said, this one's for you, Eli. So, looking forward to Eli's return to the broadcast booth. Here's Jahmyr Gibbs. And Gibbs takes it for a first down. By the way, we're talking about Clark Lee starting his college playing career as a baseball player at Birmingham Southern. They won the College World Series for their level. Their radio voice that year, the postseason, was Chris Stewart. He called the games in Lewiston, Idaho for their postseason run. 22nd first down of the night for Bama. End zone. Open. Incomplete. What an effort by Ja'Cory Brooks. He already has 2 touchdown catches tonight.
Next time, we'll tell you about Chris Stewart's time as a sports reporter at the Over the Mountain Journal.
Well, it is 34-3, so we have time. Premature celebration from that Alabama fan. Already had the hands up.
Just another example of Bryce getting to his 4th read on the backside. It's a post on the backside that when you draw that play up, you're like, no, we're never going to get there.
Oh, maybe we will.
Maybe you do.
Chase McClellan. You dropped an uh-oh.
Yeah. When running backs go same foot, same shoulder, you're going to see the left foot hit and the left shoulder, bam. Get out of the way.
See the value of Cam Latu there with that tight end insert, kind of out of a fullback position.
When you knock a guy's mouthpiece to the ground, you've made solid contact. Latu attached here. And McClellan finds another hole. And he throws him to the ground. Touchdown from 12 yards out for Chase McClellan. Second touchdown of the season for McClellan. His season was cut short last year. And he was an absolute wrecking ball on that drive.
Well, as much as Bill O'Brien loves to see some of the big plays through the air that Bryce Young has had tonight, it's a sight for sore eyes to see physicality like this. You're an offensive coordinator. The run game opens everything up downfield, and Alabama has been physical up front. Came into this game leading the country in yards per attempt, and that is a grown man stiff arm. Reminiscent of a Najee Harris, who does that at the NFL level now, making grown men look like little children playing football.
That was a get off me shove. 515 yards of offense for Bill O'Brien's unit tonight. Fair catch taken and handled cleanly. Let's get it to Laura Rutledge, our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Wherever fun happens, Academy Sports and Outdoors is there.
.256 remaining in the third.
We talked about Eli Ricks earlier. I've been watching him on the sideline, and T-Rob has been going over to him, talking to him almost before every possession. Pete Golding going and talking to him before possessions. It's a guy they want to catch up as quick as possible. He's a talented player. The more depth you can have at that position. I'm not saying Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's been playing at a high level. Terrion Arnold, Kyrie Jackson are playing at high levels as well. So that cornerback group is coming together. But anytime you have a talent like Eli Ricks that can provide depth, and if something happens, be a lockdown guy out there, this coaching staff would love to have him come up to speed as quickly as possible.
Another back shoulder off the hands of Shepard. DB's coached by Travaris Robinson.
He's working on Kool-Aid McKinstry right there, a guy that Travaris Robinson told me before the game reminds me the most of myself. Doesn't have the best straight line speed. Not as good of an athlete as some of the others. Terrion Arnold's the guy they say is the most gifted. Kyrie Jackson, one of the guys that's the fastest, maybe most athletic. You get quotes like, doesn't know what he doesn't know about Terrion Arnold. And obviously, some of the other DBs, Brian Brandt's going to be described as the best DB. But Kool-Aid, he said, reminds me the most of myself. The first thing he said after that is, well, he's smart. And so, of course, you try to go that he reminds you of yourself because he's smart. But it is interesting that maybe one of the guys that's not the fastest, most athletic is described as that, because T-Rob was one of the best football players I ever played with at Auburn. Wasn't the tallest, wasn't the fastest, wasn't the strongest, but the guy just knew the game and knew how to play it well.
They sack him again, converging on Swan, Will Anderson Jr., and Chris Braswell. Fourth sack of the night.
You got that cheetah package again. Braswell's going to come from the inside here. Will Anderson from that side as well. That's just so tough for a tackle on Braswell's side. I know Will Anderson got there too, but Braswell has, or that tackle has, Braswell and Dallas Turner out there.
Yeah.
Outside of him. You got two guys, and you're like, I don't know which one's coming, but both these guys are really good.
Well, we were talking with Tyler Steen yesterday, the former Vandy tackle, now at Alabama. He's got to go against Will Anderson every day in practice. Line drive kick. Here's McKinstry. It's a first block. And gets forced out of bounds. And he said what makes trying to block Will Anderson so tough is he's got a variety of moves. He's not just a bull rusher or not just a speed guy. And so you're left to guess many times. And Cole, that's a tough spot for a tackle to be in. Will Anderson, 2.5 sacks tonight. We'll catch Derek Thomas, but there are only two names on that list now.
And the most difficult part about it, I mean, you just think kind of common sense. To handle his power, you have to anchor. So obviously, you're not going to be able to take a very quick pass set. So if you want to jump him and set laterally, you got to get out there quick because you got to cut him off. If you want to get deep and gain depth to try to cut off that arc to the quarterback, well, you're technically going backwards. So a guy with his strength could easily turn that speed into power and be able to run you over. When are you going to anchor? Either way, if you want to jump him, if you want to set him deep, you have to find a way to get your cleats in the ground because, like Jordan said, he has a variety of moves.
New quarterback in for Alabama. This is Jalen Milroe. And he'll hand off to Jace McClellan. By the way, moments ago, the training staff for Alabama took Byron Young back into their locker room on a cart. So Milroe, 8 of 12 on the season. Was 0 for 2 against Monroe last week. Led in 4 games last year. Was the number 4 dual threat quarterback in the country. And has to fall on this one. From Tompkins High School in Katy, Texas.
Snap wide left there. I'll tell you what, Milroe, he's like a free safety or a strong safety playing quarterback. You see Byron Young there going back to the locker room. But I say that not to say he can't throw the football, because he is So gifted. He has a huge arm. The accuracy, the consistency coming along as he develops. Such a weapon back there.
On 3rd and 16. Milroe throws it away.
Just really good coverage on the back end there by Vandy. 3rd and forever situations. So they sat back in zone coverage. Some good coaching coming from the GOAT right now.
James Burnett to punt it away. Second punt of the night for Alabama. Shepard looking for a return. And gets dragged down by the ankle after a 46-yard punt, 7 on the return. So that'll bring it into the 3rd quarter. Alabama going to win its 23rd consecutive game against Vanderbilt, tied 41. Doors 3. Pretty cool. How was that scene this morning?
Pretty good. Actually, a ton more Arkansas fans. Arkansas showed up.
First connection with the tight end, Gavin Showald, Brentwood product out of Brentwood Academy, was a fantastic youth basketball player up until early years of high school. But he said all the guys I played with went from 6'3" to 6'8", 6'10", and I kind of stayed here. And he played with and against some dudes. High school teammate of Darius Garland. Now with the Cavaliers. There's Ray Davis. Cole, I guess you get better if you play with and against the best, and that would explain Gavin Showald's AAU and high school career.
What did he tell us? He played with or against 9 of the 14 top NBA selections in the draft.
8 of the top 12 selections in the 2019 NBA draft. He played with or against, including Colin Sexton, who played here, Marvin Bagley, others.
Yeah, I found some footage of him in 9th, 10th grade, and he was even with a couple of centers that came out that year. But as he stated, they got up close to 7 feet. He didn't.
Swan going deep into coverage and just past the reach.
Do not like seeing Jordan Battle grab down at that hamstring right there towards the end of that play. A guy that Travaris Robinson told me, I only have one way to describe 9 to you, a guy that I don't want to go into battle without.
And Jordan Battle's going to come off the field.
Love to see A.J. Swan still fighting, pushing the ball downfield, and see Battle come up right there.
Play action. Going right back to Shepard. Kool-Aid McKinstry with the coverage.
Again, it's so unique the way A.J. Swan throws these back shoulders. They're almost touch throws.
Yeah.
And that's actually, in my opinion, a little harder than if you were throwing it on a rope. Because you got to anticipate, lead a little bit more. It sounds weird to do, but you're leading the guy more than you would if you're throwing it harder on a throw that you want on the back shoulder. So, but he's good at them. Completed a few of them tonight on tight coverage.
You wonder if that would have to change if DBs can ever take advantage of that. More time to react. He's able to check down to Jaden McGowan. McGowan was a walk-on. Runs a 4.440. His mom always had faith. The Vandy staff said, you can come here, but we're not going to have a scholarship for you right away. Well, he kept sending out tweets and emails with all of his highlights. So I had about 3,000 tweets to try and get people to notice me, and then took another visit or two, and all of a sudden Vanderbilt scholarship became available. And his mom said, I knew all along that would eventually land.
And all of a sudden he's one of the more important pieces to their passing attack. A guy they love to get the ball to in space because he's so talented.
False start by Vanderbilt.
False start on the offense,
Tommy
number
Eccles.
40. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains 4th down.
First penalty tonight against Clark Lee's squad. And Alabama's going to change out their entire unit. May not have 11 on the field. Well, they did eventually, and that ball is down inside the 15-yard line. Post game, let's go. Well, let's take a look at the former assistants for Nick Saban and how his coaching tree has taken over college football. All right, 14 former assistants, FBS head coaches. Take Alabama out. That's 11% of FBS teams coached by Nick Saban assistants. Oh, by the way, a couple guys at the NFL level as well.
Pretty impressive, huh? It's funny how like college football and the NFL have like a few main trees. For a while in the NFL was Bill Belichick. Now it's really the Shanahan tree.
Yeah.
7 different head coaches from that tree in the NFL. And college is obviously very dominated by Nick Saban and his tree. It's just a testament to, hey, when something's working, every other school is like, how do we get that? Right? How do we recreate that? Give us someone that knows that secret sauce. It's worked in some places, and
well, even with Saban assistants, it's worked some, but not very often. Obviously, Kirby made it work. Here's Jalen Milroe going deep, trying to go back shoulder. And we got a flag coming in late as he was trying to find Brooks. Santa Neola had the coverage.
I love this here. Jalen Milroe, what are you trying to see from him in a game like this? You want him to identify. You want him to see things, make the right decisions, right?
Pass interference on the defense, number 28. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot. And it carries an automatic first down.
You're going to see a cat corner. So a corner is going to come on a blitz here. And Jalen Milroe is going to see it. This cat corner, he's going to come. He's expecting his guy just to run a little hitch route, or we call it a look route. Turn your head, and Jalen Milroe is trying to throw the ball right now. He's like, you're hot, right? And he ends up throwing it downfield because I think receiver didn't quite pick it up. That's a great sign right there. Saw the blitz and then knew where to go with it. Just hit the receiver not on the same page, knowing, hey, I got to replace. Just turn and catch the ball.
Trey Sanders, 8-yard gain. Hey, going back to Saban's influence in the pro game and his history in the pro game, we were talking about that comp between being a big league manager of the Yankees like Aaron Boone, or coaching Alabama football. And he said the similarity, even though they're different coaching styles, this common thread is creating value for your players. And if they understand that you can create value for them, whatever that might be, then they're going to listen to you, and you're going to have value as a coach. And that might be, he said, listen, I don't know Aaron Boone's situation, but if that means you pull Giancarlo Stanton aside and you say, hey, I can help you reach your goals, and you've got a contract coming up, and this is what we need to accomplish, then they're going to listen to you because we've stated and communicated our goals to each other. I can help you achieve that.
Yeah, nobody better than Nick Saban and this Alabama program at turning prospects and recruits, pressure, into NFL players.
Milroe with the U-turn.
And that's really the value, right? I mean, you come to Alabama for 2 reasons. You want to win a championship, right? They have proven that they're going to put you in an opportunity every single year to have that, right? And if you're there for 4 or 5 years, you're going to win one. It's kind of been the track record. But in more than that, even so, the ability to develop you into a player that can excel at the next level. And that's what he's achieved so well. If you plug in, you do what I tell you, you buy into the system, you're going to develop, you're going to be able to play at the next level.
B.J. Ducati got in there to tip it. Now leave 2nd and 10. Bama will run it. They pick up 6 there. They're just kind of doing whatever they want to do all night tonight. Marion Miller now getting some run in the backfield. 529 yards of offense for Alabama. Milroe finds a wide open receiver and a first down.
Another great job there by Jalen Milroe. Vanderbilt brought cross dog, so both linebackers blitzed up the middle. So what do? Replace the blitz. Watch both linebackers come. You got a drive route. Christian Leary. Nope. That's Isaiah Bond coming over the middle there. So 2 times now just on this drive, he's seen blitz, and he's made the right decision. One time, receiver not on the same page. That time, a good play.
Miller running behind Robbie Oots. Finds about 5.
Heck of a block by Robbie Oots here. 45. You are 45. You better be doing something 30 inside near close to the line of scrimmage. Oots is kind of that. He's kind of that lunch bell guy. He does a lot of the dirty work near the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up some blocks. He'll help in pass protection. Saw him get a little target and catch a ball earlier, but that's where he's best. Adding a little extra physicality near the football.
Miller again.
2 plays ago, too, he pulled on another and just smacked somebody. Tom was probably saying something dumb, so
yeah.
I didn't get to it.
Well,
but
odds are
he's been laying the wood.
Sweet lip sweater he's rocking too.
Must be a big fan of the 80s. That montage you ran earlier.
Oh, we're bringing it back, baby.
I mean, mullets are back. They're fully back. Not the old like Kentucky waterfall, you know, where it's just real long in the back. But
just
you get a little
enough.
curly, little feathered right here. Look, he's got a mullet. That's the new style mullet.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face on the defense number 92. That 15-yard penalty carries an automatic first down.
Fantastic Sam's, and you say, give me the Kenny Powers?
Yes, absolutely.
Free bubble gum.
I mean, that is some quality, just brown sugar on his lip right there. And I am jealous because I am not very skilled or gifted in the facial hair category. If you watched SEC Nation today, you do know that my feet aren't without hair.
Oh,
I grow very well down there, just not on my face.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it is.
It was weird that you would just bring that up. Not saying it's TMI, but I think we have an opportunity. You got your pedicure with Tebow. Why don't you take off your shoes, show the people?
Well, no, I'm not going to do that, Tom, because I actually started an OnlyFans, and I'm going to be selling subscriptions to that thanks to SEC Nation today and some interesting close-up shots of my feet.
That'll pay for your pool.
I'm an entrepreneur. What can I say? You know, trying to hustle.
I would have thought that when you played here, you took a hit so hard it knocked the hair right off your feet into the end zone, incomplete.
Yeah, I don't really remember playing here. I know I did, but
Holding on the offense number 65. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Here's a play that Jordan has seen but doesn't remember. Walk us through it, analyst.
Oh, we got a little speed option going. I got a fullback blocking ahead of me, and just, you know, I was looking at the block and didn't realize that Mark Barron is a grown man coming full speed at me. And that is like a life or death instinct to pop right up. I have no idea where I am. I had no idea. My earpiece was up in my forehead. Just.
You went to the sideline and you went right to the chaplain. Did you ask for last rites? What was that conversation like?
I remember going straight to Brother Brett Brown, our chaplain. He's still down there. I was talking to him before the game. I remember going, Brother Brown, I need you to pray for me because the stadium is spinning. I have no idea how I got here, and there is no way I'm coming out of this game. And he kind of looked around and goes, all right. He started praying for me.
And he couldn't. He felt like he couldn't share that information. He was conflicted. What do I do? He's trusted me.
I feel like the best part that we're skipping on that whole thing is Jordan's fake bow up there before he hit Mark Barron. Like, he was going to attempt to run him over while in the air, and it just didn't quite work.
Here's Milroe with room to run. Got out of her skis a little bit, regained his balance, and he took it inside the 5. Took down the Fotok, too. All smiles, knocked him right out of his hat. The end of a 28-yard gain.
You know, I bowed up because I thought I was Jalen Milroe. I thought I could run like this. I couldn't. Not many people can.
6'2", 212.
Yeah, he's a freight train going downhill, and I was a Honda Civic from 1992 that needed an oil change or two. And
yeah, what's your comp?
Wow. You know, I couldn't find my keys yesterday morning, and that's why.
He knocked you to Tuesday. Miller?
You know, the very next play,
down.
My offensive coordinator had the gall, the gumption to call a speed option the other way. And I said, took one step, pitched it, said, no, sir.
There is somebody in the building who
Personal foul,
can relate to what you
on
felt.
The defense, number 92. Penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the run, and it carries an automatic first down.
Somebody in the building is not wearing pads at all tonight who knows what it's like to get run over. And watch what happened at the end of this play. Here's your close-up. Not what I signed up for.
Just, hey, fetal position. Protect the camera.
He did the exact same thing Jordan did before he got hit.
That is true.
Milroe dropped his mouthpiece. First and goal. Incomplete, and there's a flag. They love this route combination down around the 5-yard line. What makes it so effective?
Well, we used to call it pirate back in the day. We'd run it at a 3-by-1.
Pass interference on the defense, number 25. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal from the previous spot, and it carries an automatic first down.
Yeah, it's just a corner route on the inside. Corner route here, a lot of times this will be an in-breaking route, or they'll bring him back out. You know you're going to get man coverage down there.
Yeah.
So you know you're going to have no help over the top. You have a leverage issue inside. You have a lot of space outside. So just a great play design to attack where the defense is weakest down here in the low red zone.
Alabama up 38. No longer. They will punch it in. Jamarian Miller. And that means a lot to a few.
Check those parlays. That one might help.
5:11 to play. That was a 14-play, 87-yard drive, and you got to feel good if you're Jalen Milroe. There was so much attention on Jalen Milroe each and every practice, with Bill O'Brien looking over his shoulder and coaching him and staying on him and making sure and especially relative to the Heisman Trophy winner who comes off the field when he enters. You said he looked good. Good decision making against pressure.
Yeah, I think it's easy to lump him into that athletic quarterback conversation, but he looked like a true quarterback there. Identified blitz, threw hot, made some plays with his legs, and Alabama rolling.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile, bringing 5G to hometowns across the SEC.
Alabama players getting it done on Sundays, or in some scenarios Thursdays. How about the last 3 quarterbacks or the Alabama uniform? When they get paid to do it, they're pretty good too.
I mean, there's a good chance that Alabama could have 4 starting quarterbacks in the NFL next year. Pretty crazy, huh?
Really crazy. A&M finished off Arkansas at Jerry World. That's a huge win for Nick Saban assistant Jimbo Fisher. Alabama up 45. 5:11 to play. We will return after this. That is something. Wow, what a catch by Schoenwald. He carries him a first down. You don't think Tennessee fan base is going to overreact to this start, do you?
Oh, no. No, what do you mean? I don't know, though.
They got a lot to be excited about.
They've been overreacting since, was it Dorian that said they were going to go 11-1? In studio? Was that that? Or Kentucky?
Did he say that?
I think he said Tennessee.
I thought that was Kentucky.
Whatever.
Same division.
Backs are optional tonight.
Do that without Cedric Tillman, though. Pretty
Yes,
impressive.
huge.
Florida recovered an onside kick late. Had a last gasp. Rocco Griffin picks up 6.
Saw a graphic, too. Hendon Hooker, since becoming a starter, 45 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
At Tennessee.
Yes,
right?
starter.
Virginia Tech numbers.
When he took over, since he's took over last year, 45 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That is dumb.
You want another nugget?
Yeah. Feed me.
You know how long it's been since
Stop it.
Vanderbilt
We don't
scored
need to hear that.
touchdown versus Alabama? Palladino told me to go slow, so it has been 35 drives. 5,495 days since the last touchdown for
What do you mean?
You can't do
what
that.
do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see it. But hey. Come on. What are we doing here? Kick us while we're down. Oh, fine. You win. Oh, now you take it off.
Yeah. Well, coming from one of the 100 greatest players modern Vanderbilt football history.
I didn't get a touchdown against Alabama either, so.
How are your coin flipping skills? You had a chance as the honorary captain to do that in the Wake Forest game.
Tell you what, those coins are heavier than you think. Didn't get my thumb exercises in. It was average.
I would kill you in thumb wars.
6 out of 10, I doubt it.
5, 6, 7, 8. It'll be a piece of cake. Incomplete. Ray Davis. Oh, an injured Commodore. Looks like Julian Hernandez, senior from Davie, Florida. And he'd been getting run at center since Delphin Xavier Castillo didn't make the trip. Get poked in the eye?
Yeah, sure looks like it.
Cole, you know, we talked about the new face masks in college football that are out there. We have seen the absence of upright bar face masks anymore. Like, that used to be the one that came down right from the middle.
Right.
That theoretically would keep a guy from getting an entire hand into a face mask.
That's one of the complaints about that new Rydell Axiom helmet. Anthony Richardson wears it. Trying to think of some other notable players that guys will see that wear it. There's not a ton of guys on each team that wear it. The advantage is it's the shell of the helmet.
Here's McKinstry trying to get to the outside, and another solid return. Finish up quick.
Shell of the helmet's broken into 4 different places, so it displaces all of the pressure, but not having that top bar doesn't need it because it's already broken up, and that top bar used to take away some of the impact. But that's what guys don't like about it, and that's why most guys that wear it have a visor with it.
Curly, Mo, and Larry would be a fan of that center bar.
Nobody has ever named the Stooges in that order before.
Larry,
You're
Mo,
toe-tipping
Curly.
your way through this. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. This is some of the action while you're at commercial here in Tuscaloosa. And what are we doing? We're partying. I'm going to put it on the gram. We did the wave.
You know,
we're partying.
I was planning on focusing just on the feet, obviously, for my subscription-based model. But maybe we should start selling our commercial breaks. We have some fun up here.
Well, just 2 boxes, right?
Yeah.
Bama's going to go to its 3rd-string quarterback. And I tell you what, if you watch this guy in practice, it is impressive. Ty Simpson is a freshman from Martin, Tennessee, and a coach's son. He seems to have it all put together.
He can rip it.
Yes. Hand it off to Miller here. I tell you what I would subscribe to if we had a chance for in all access shows. I'd love to be in the quarterback room with Bryce Young and the two guys underneath him who have an opportunity to learn from him and try to see the game the same way that he does. And Bill O'Brien said the room is just awesome. Bryce is sharing and pulling guys under his wing and just talking to them about the game.
Nothing beats perspective, right? And I've had quarterback coaches that were quarterbacks and not quarterbacks. When you have that perspective, and especially when you have a teammate like Bryce that's giving you the perspective on a daily basis, what he sees, why he sees it, it hits different than when a coach does it.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn more, you soak up more, you hear more about that vantage point. I think that's so important. So Ty Simpson is a heck of a player. He's got all the talent in the world, and he is in no better situation sitting behind Bryce Young and learning from Bill O'Brien.
Tyu Jones-Bell on the receiving end of that pass from Simpson. We talk a lot about young quarterbacks with big arms learning touch and learning that you don't have to be fastball heavy all the time. And watching Ty Simpson operate with Bryce Young in Alabama practice, you see it firsthand because he will absolutely rip it into windows and even rip it when he doesn't need to. And Bryce Young is the opposite, right? I mean, he's got a great feel for how to deliver a catchable ball. Hey, thanks to Wheels Up, helping make travel easier. Jordan was at SEC Nation in Arlington this morning and here in Tuscaloosa this evening. Made it to the Alamite Hotel in record time. The only thing you missed was dinner at Forte last night, which was scrumptious. Yes, dirty French cuisine. Learn that term.
Talk to me dirty.
Oui.
Souffle?
No souffles. Oh. Straight ahead run. And Alabama looking for more. And Jerry Miller's going to take it to the house. Second touchdown for Miller tonight. He's averaging 7 yards a carry. That one went for 40.
Well, condensed set on the left side, right side of your screen, left side of the offensive formation. And I just think it's more of a mindset thing at this point, right? I mean, Vandy is looking up at the scoreboard right now and probably counting down the time to get back to Nashville.
And that's real? That's how it happens?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you'd like to say that no, we're fighting for 4 quarters. That's hard to do, man. You're in a game like this. Vandy fought really hard early on. Got a young quarterback, a lot of promise around this program. Clark Lee has them on the path to turn this thing around from what they were last year, the momentum they have right now. But this is a tough matchup. I've been here. I've been in a blowout on the Vanderbilt sideline here in Tuscaloosa. So really tough to find the confidence to keep fighting for 4 quarters when you're just going against a team that is one of the best in the country.
Talked with Gavin Schowald earlier this week, and he said, last year, 2-10 on the year, and all the right things were being said in the meetings.
Yeah.
But then it's another thing to take that from the meeting room back to the apartment where you're real with guys, or in the car when you're driving around town.
Yeah, I mean, James Franklin came in and said, hey, we're going to win not national. He said we're going to win SEC championships, and you heard Clark Lee at Media Days talk about who they were going to be and winning championships and being one of the best programs in the country. And you hear it. I don't think you believe it as a player, right? You hear that, yeah, that's our goal. But then you go back and you talk about it with your teammates like, yeah, man, we're not there yet. I mean, they're realistic. But there is a turning point. At some point this season, I think it started a little bit early on with some of the success the offense had in the first few games. You start to go, wait a minute. We are getting better. We are improving.
It will be hard, though, to see it from a results standpoint.
Yes.
If Ole Miss beats Kentucky next week, they're a top 10 team. Vanderbilt has never in its history played 3 consecutive games against top 10 opponents. They've only played 3 top 10 teams in a season, which is what they'll get if Kentucky does win, because they got them later on down the road like 7 times in their school history. Yeah. This is not for the faint of heart.
No, and that's why, look, there's no moral victories, but there is moral victories when it comes to development and confidence. Not that you're okay with that, but you do take things away from games like this and competing against teams that are top ranked in the entire country, and you learn from it and you grow from it, and that's what Clark Lee and Vanderbilt are going to try to take away from tonight. Still fighting to the end. Clark's not giving it up.
23rd consecutive win for Alabama against Vanderbilt. We'll hear from Nick Saban in a moment. It'll be interesting to see what he says to Cole about what goals they met tonight and perhaps where they fell short in their head coach's eyes.
Coach Saban, from a run game perspective, I know you wanted to be a little more downhill, see more gap scheme run, be successful. You had that tonight. Why were you able to be successful with that?
Yeah, well, we got to have balance on offense, and I think we had some tonight. We did a great job of throwing the ball. We did a really good job of protecting, blocked their pressures really well. So it was a good night for us offensively.
Defensively, you showed a lot. Obviously, different looks, different fronts, different personnel. How does that help you moving forward?
Well, I think that, you got to do a good job on third down. I think we did a good job on third down, and I think we did a pretty good job of stopping the run for the most part. And we didn't give up a lot of explosive plays. So 14 is a really good player. They hit a couple balls to him. We were right on him, but he made a good play. So we got to clean that up.
We tried to share the back shoulder lessons on the broadcast. I know I probably didn't do a good job. You can send me the critique here later.
Back shoulder lesson. I gave you one. I need to give them one.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.
He's all smiles, and his team held Vandy to just 1 for 13 on third down. 55-3 is the final score. Alabama over Vandy. Bryce Young with a fantastic night tonight. We'll see you just a little bit later, but for now, let's get you to the studio in Darien.
All right, Will, we've been waiting on it. Cheetah, we got it tonight. How was it?
It was fun, just getting rid of all the playmakers on the field and showing different type of pass rush packages that we got and make sure that, we got the best guys on the field. The coaches did a really good job of getting us in place and making plays.
I want to know what's going through your mind, though, because you're lined up 2 gaps outside of the offensive tackle. It's already difficult enough to block you as it is. What advantages past what you normally do does that look give you?
I think it gives you a lot of looks, especially like when you get a lot of chip blocks and, either with the tight end or with the running back and stuff like that. So Coach Golden and the rest of the coaches did a really good job of setting that up and creating that package for us.
All right, so some young guys get to play tonight, too. What does that do for you? I see Bryce coming out in between plays, after plays, when you get some of the younger guys in. How does that help this team this week and then obviously moving forward?
It helps us a lot. It gets them experience under their belt. If anybody go down or a situation happen, they can come in. They know exactly what to do to help this team be the best team that we can possibly be.
Number 2 on the career sacks list. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it feels great. This is just a goal of mine, to outdo what I did last year, and I just want to keep this thing rolling.
Is the bird chest doing okay?
Yeah, it's doing fine. It's still getting a little bigger, but we're working on it.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you. Have a good night.